everybody. We are not live today, but I'm so excited to tape this for you, and you'll be able to listen to it on the podcast on Friday. That open feels like forever when you just want to get to your guest. I'm so excited to have Lauren Smith Kennedy from the Tilly Project, who I've known actually for a few years now. I was trying to think how long we've known each other. Before we get to her, I am going to thank our sponsors. Here we go. Thank you so much to our presenting sponsors. Canine Cruise is the place to take your pet. They offer dog and cat boarding, dog daycare, pet retail, and mindful day school. With over 12,000 square feet of indoor space and a spacious yard, they're the one-stop shop for professional pet care in Chicago. Bark Pouch makes game-changing lickable treats for easy breezy time with your dog or dogs. Their grab-and-go pouch makes treating mess-free, and with 5 irresistible, all-human-grade recipes in 2 sizes, even picky pups find a favorite. 1 gentle squeeze and a quick lick of Bark Pouch dog treats, and you'll enjoy amazing attention, even around squirrels. Kiki's Corner Natural Pet Foods in downtown Winfield, just a block south of the CDH Hospital and the railroad tracks. Kiki's has all your food and health aid needs for dogs and cats. Kiki's Corner for a healthy, happy pet. Thank you, sponsors. Once again, as I always tell you guys, I know those sponsors personally. So when you're doing your holiday shopping, think about shopping small business. Very, very important, especially in this day and age. They need all the support that they can get. I know that now as a business owner of 2 businesses, it's not easy all the time. Speaking of businesses, here comes Lauren. Hi, Lauren. How are you? Good to see you.
Hey, good to see you too. Thank you so much for having me.
No, I'm so honored to have you. And I've loved to watch you explode, really. I mean, you've really blossomed since the first time we spoke. I know initially it was an email, and then it was a follow-up phone call. Just, you asked me for some advice. And what was good about it is the connection with Live Like Rue and photography and bucket lists. It all really made sense. And for those of you that have listened to this podcast a while, you know that I had a dog named Rue that passed away. And my biggest regret is not taking more photos. And I was really trying to live in the moment for those 6 months. And now that we have this foundation, I really, really do wish that we had more. And that brings me to Lauren, who has this amazing 501c3. It's now a charity called the Tilly Project. So before we get to that, Lauren, I wanted to know, did you grow up with pets and animals? I assume you did.
Absolutely. Yeah. From a very young age, I have always grown up with animals. Had a couple of cats growing up. And then I've had 1 dog. He was a beagle named Wilbur. He was a rescued dog. We got him when he was a little bit older. So, but besides that, I've had cats, rats, you name it. Now I work at a wildlife center too. So occasionally I'll transport the random, raccoon or squirrel, but don't have them in my apartment.
Yeah. So, and obviously you're a photographer at heart. That's where this all came from. But tell us who Tilly was. I always say is, who Rue is, because he's still alive. I mean, through the foundation, but who was Tilly, and why did you decide to start this photography for end of life sessions?
Absolutely. And I couldn't agree more with you on the use of is versus was. I mean, in both of our organizations that we've named after, these animals who have really impacted us, their legacy continues. So I think, and even, outside of organizations, just, a family who has an animal who has passed away, that love still exists. So I think using is, I'm right there with you. That's how I feel. So yeah, Tilly, she was my cat who passed away about 5 years ago. And she was the absolute love of my life. She still is the love of my life. Definitely my soul cat. And she passed away, and she was only 5 years old. I'll kind of save the details because it's a bit traumatic, and not everyone likes to hear that, but in a very traumatic accident, she passed away right in front of me. And it was truly a freak accident. So it was, very sad. And I kind of got to the place where, I really went through that grief and felt a bit, supported by my immediate family and my connections, but still ran into the, not feeling entirely validated with that pet loss and grief. So that's who, Tilly is. And I have I don't know if you can see, but got a nice little tattoo of her. Always like to honor her and keep her with me. And, by saying her name frequently and by naming the Tilly Project after her, I really incorporate her and her legacy within my everyday. So,
yeah. So the actual Tilly Project is basically end of life sessions, and what you have done, which is really, really incredible, and what Live Like Rue uses now for our bucket list photo shoots, is a resource for people to go to and try to find end of life photographers. And you ask that these photographers donate their time if possible, at least for the shoot, correct?
So for the Tilly Project, it's photography directory. So we have a mixture of photographers who donate their time, who do complimentary sessions, but then we also have business owners who, it truly is their business, and they either do discounts or they charge full price for their sessions. Within the Tilly Project, we now have made it an option for photographers to kind of disclose that. So it's, families who may have a tighter budget or who are not able to spend for whatever reason can really see that, and the conversation can really start with that. So we have a whole mixture of professional photographers, hobbyists. It's really just a directory so that folks, should they need that service, have a place to go for not only that, but for anticipatory loss, resources and pet loss resources in general.
Yeah, and for those of you that listened to the podcast last week about anticipatory grief, and we now work with a pet loss company where we will pay for people's therapy sessions or a Facebook group or, a group session or a one-on-one session. That part of it, and I know you know this as well as I do, it is so hard because I like, even just sitting here, I get tears like,
yeah,
thinking about my Herman and my Mac, these dogs that are reaching end of life. That thinking about that it is awful. And then sustaining a loss like you had, where it is traumatic, it's awful. Like, and it really, if you don't have kids or you don't have a lot of family around, like it really weighs heavy on you because that's what you have. That's it. So important just to even like offer those services as well.
And to have a community. I mean, speaking about pet loss and grief, it truly is disenfranchised grief, which, if that's, I'm sure you've spoken on this plenty, but if that's, your first time hearing that term, it just basically means that it's, a type of grief that isn't often seen or validated by our, society. I mean, I think, and I say this all the time, but I think we don't talk about death enough in our culture. And then you get even more specific and you get into pet loss and grief, and it truly just transforms into that disenfranchised grief where there's not as many resources, you don't feel as validated. I remember when Tilly passed away, I had someone tell me the day that she passed that, oh, it's okay, she's just a cat. And I truly thought, when you hear people saying that, you think, oh, people can't actually say that. There's no way, there's no way. And I had it said to me the day that she passed. Like it just, so and I've noticed within grief communities too, there's a bit of like, gatekeeping or like, I don't know, it's just this like weird thing. And so part of the Tilly Project, just like you're talking about, is I just wanted to create a community, a place where folks could come and just share. And that's it, not gimmicky, nothing like that, just a place. And that's, also what I really appreciate about Live Like Rue as well, is just, just a community. It helps in a bigger sense. And it really just creates an intentional space to be able to just grieve openly.
Yeah, and really important to not put a timetable on grief.
Yeah.
Like for somebody to say that to you that day, it's awful. We talk a lot about, oh, the dog has cancer, just put the dog down or just put the cat down. Like, no, like might have a chance. And for whatever time they have left, like, let's do this photo shoot. And if you look at your photos, like if you look at some of these like family shots, like these moments, like I'm going to start to cry. They just mean like so much to the people. And you can see that that dog at that moment is like the center of the world. And in my opinion, and I don't see how anybody can disagree, these photos that you're taking are going to be treasured for so many years to come.
Yeah, they definitely capture, you know, some really meaningful moments. And they capture really vulnerable moments too. Every single session, just like with grief, is individual. It's individual to that pet. It's individual to the family. You're seeing, you know, a whole range of photos right now. Some of them are filled with laughs. Some of them are very emotional. So it's really, I have felt very honored to have been a part of so many memories that are going to be cherished forever. So I'm so just honored to be able to be a part of that, to witness so many different bonds, you know, types of bonds, and to be able to capture different species in general. I mean, dogs, cats, rats, horses, and I even just photographed a steer, a 13-year-old steer. So yeah, it's been an honor. And to be able to think that it's not, you know, I never want to say that these photos are helping families, because like what truly helps with grief, but it is a way that they can navigate it, is, you know, what I normally say.
Yeah, I mean, so true. It really is. And I think like your style, and it's hard to find a photographer that has this like style that you have, and it's not just like turning a filter on, making it black and white. Like you, the way you shoot it, you know, with the shadows and then sometimes light and sometimes not. It's so amazing.
Thanks.
I wanted to know, is it hard for you? I'm gonna cry again. Is it
Mhm.
hard for you, because you had a TikTok that went very viral where, you know, somebody was filming kind of behind the scenes with you. The man with a dog was crying, like you could see like it was emotional for him. But is it hard? I know you're in that like work zone, and I know that feeling like where you are just like adrenaline, I've got to get the shot. But
Yeah.
are there times that you're just upset or crying, or does that happen usually like after the shoot? And I assume when you edit and you actually see what you got, it's just a moment for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think during the shoot, my biggest focus, and I get asked this, I think this is like my number one question that I'm asked is, you know, how are you not a mess the entire time? How are you not sobbing the whole time that you are, you know, taking these photos? And my response to that is I am able to entirely compartmentalize my feelings, because I feel that I am there to capture such an important time and moments that you really will never get again. So I have to put my feelings to the side and focus entirely on what's in front of me. There have been, you know, several moments where I've gotten a bit choked up and everything, especially after, you know, when I am editing. But I think my want to my want and my drive to just make sure that I do best for these families is what kind of keeps me going and what keeps me on track. And I think also, you know, a bigger part of it too is I have such an interesting relationship with grief in general and with the trauma associated with grief. So I think that it, you know, I'm still working through those feelings even 5 years later after losing Tilly, but it was the most traumatic, you know, moment of my life thus far. And so I think it has allowed me to really be able to separate the two, because it's still so traumatic to me and it brings up so many feelings. So it's kind of a pro and a con in that it allows me to entirely focus like what I'm doing with these families and put my feelings to the side. So yeah, it's kind of tough. Grief is, you know, just really tough in general. And then you're put into these moments where, you know, you see another family who's and so heartbroken, and you know, it's tough not to get emotional for sure.
Kudos to you. Yeah. I mean, it really does take a strong person to do it. And you're so right. Like you have to get that shot. Like you've got, and I know, when you see it, like there
Right.
it is, that's that this family is going to cherish this forever.
Absolutely. Now, I will say there are some photographers within the group who will, ask the same question, like, how do you not get emotional? And some other photographers will respond, be like, I cry with the family, and just also want to reiterate that just because this is how I navigate sessions and how I navigate my work does not mean it's right. Um, if you cry and you shed emotions and and then you channel that into your photography, that's okay too. But that's just, yeah, I know that it's like, for me, I'm either entirely emotional and I literally can't turn it off, or I'm just like, I just try and stay in that work zone. So that's just works for me. So
Yeah, that's amazing.
yeah.
So for people that want to get involved, so I know what happens, and I see the page a lot, is that you get a lot of people posting asking for a photographer, but then you get the photographers, willing to help you. So if
Yeah.
somebody wants to, and I know you have them all over the United States, which is great.
All over
I
the
mean,
world,
yeah,
actually.
wow. So it's just
Hmm.
great because, I can go to, wherever, New York, and see who's on there. And before I
Yes.
make a post, I kind of can at least try to get them involved somehow. But what is the easiest way to go onto the website and then have people contact you that way?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you are either looking for a photographer yourself, or if you're a photographer who may be listening to this who wants to start offering this service, again, we welcome skill levels of all types. And you can just go right onto the tillyproject.org, and you'll be able to see it's very clearly listed whether you want to join the directory as a photographer or find a photographer yourself. And we also do have that Facebook page, which is just the Tilly Project, I think, End of Life Pet Photography Network. It's a little bit of a long thing, but if you just search the Tilly Project, it'll come up. We have about 11,000 folks in there, so it's a really great community. And also, there's plenty of connecting that's happening within there. So if you're looking for a photographer, you can also try that as kind of a backup.
Yeah, and not to put you on the spot, but do you have a favorite story of somebody that you've helped in the past few years, or just like a
Hmm.
favorite shoot, or a favorite animal?
Yeah. You know, it's tough to say like a favorite. I think that every single family that I've captured has been such an honor. I will say that recently my most recent shoot was with Mighty, the 13-year-old steer. And that one, I'd say, again, I'd steer away from like favorites and everything, especially with grief, but I'd say that one stuck out and has been, and I want to be so intentional with my words. I know you probably are the same way, but around grief, you just have to be so intentional. It is one that has stuck out to me because it allowed me the chance to increase representation of what grief and meaningful bonds looks like within the world of pet loss. Oftentimes we see dogs and cats, which is, so helpful. And I'm so grateful for that chance. And I am also extremely grateful to, again, increase that representation and show that bonds happen and it does not matter the species. So I think that one has been one that I have, again, just, it was such an honor to be able to capture.
And now everybody, you got to go like all the social media. You got to, because I want to see those photos. I can't wait. I mean, they're going to be amazing. Um,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Last question: How proud are you when you look back and see this community that you've built?
Oh, I can't even wrap my mind around it most days. I mean, I truly cannot wrap my mind around it. To be able to just be in the group and to see connections being made and to have folks posting like, thanks to the Tilly Project, I was able to find a photographer and capture these moments of my beloved cat. I don't think I'll ever be able to fully comprehend the impact it has had, and potentially some of the conversations it started. So I'm so proud of all the photographers who have been a part of it, the community members, anyone who has ever supported it. So yeah, it's absolutely wild.
Yeah, and two things I just want to say is it is important to give back to artists. My brother was an artist. Unfortunately, he
Yeah.
passed away, but like, you don't want to take from photographers. So if you can afford to pay them, and you know what we do at Live Like Grew is if a photographer helps us and for free, you know, not only the session costs money, the equipment costs a ton of money to actually, you know, make the photos and develop them for you costs a ton of money. So if you can afford it, you know, artists, especially a photographer is an artist.
Yeah.
If you can pay, like, and Live Like Grew does not ask for everything to be comped. We see if, and because of you, Lauren, a lot of people want to do these sessions because they've seen these moments go viral, and these photos mean so much to people, and they want to feel that instead of just, and I'm not saying the family photo shoots and the senior portraits don't mean a lot, but being in these moments with these animal owners is just incredible. And then the other thing I just want to say is, if you can get the photos before the animal gets to be near the end of life, because sometimes it is difficult if their health is bad, it's even better to not wait. And I'm so glad that we did that with Mac last year, because now he can't see anything. So like the photos would be awful. So if you can get them before, you know, oh, I'm putting my animal to sleep in a week, I think, Lauren, that helps you too, just so that the animal is at least, you know, able to have photos taken and be alert and a little bit, you know, alive. I hate to say it that way, but like just to get those moments, those special moments captured.
Absolutely. And, you know, there are some folks who maybe wouldn't even feel comfortable in having a photographer capture these moments. So I did just want to mention that on the Tilly Project's page, you'll see a bunch of different resources, a ton of different resources, but one of them is just poses and prompts. And that can be, you can have a friend take that with your camera if you still want those moments, but you don't necessarily want to have a photographer come in, or maybe, you know, for whatever reason, whether it's there's not someone in your area or you don't feel comfortable for whatever reason. You don't even need to like specify that reason because it's valid. But it really is a resource there. And everything you're saying, I completely echo as far as, you know, photographers and everything. For some folks, they love being able to give back in that way, and it helps them process their own grief. And there's other photographers who it's their full-time business. And we just want to support everyone and meet everyone where they're at. So that's really what the Tilly Project try to do.
Yeah, it's great. And a side note for Lauren, if you follow her on TikTok, you'll see her Taylor Swift drama and love of Taylor Swift, which I love to see on your Facebook page. You're not going to see that on the Tilly Project, but I do enjoy, Lauren. And I was so angry about your suitcase, and that you handmade your outfit, and then your suitcase you never got it back, right?
I never got, I remade my outfit, and I remade all the bracelets and everything. But yes, I'm a very dedicated Taylor Swift fan, and yes, very committed to that.
Okay, so I'm going to just ask you, like, what do you think of Travis Kelce and her together? Do you like it?
I really don't have any feelings.
Okay.
You know, he seems, you know what, from what I do know, I'm not a sports girly. You know, I just hope both teams win. No, but you know, I really know nothing about him. I hear he's a great player and everything. I will say, though, from what I've heard, he has done incredible things with nonprofits and supporting, I believe, education, if I remember correctly. But I hear that he does a lot with that. So I really appreciate that. He seems nice. That's all I can comment.
I had to at least ask, since it's just like such a hot topic. I initially was like against it. I thought that it was like some kind of like marketing ploy, but now like seeing them together, I think it's real. And he's grown on me, especially since he lost the mustache, and you know, the rest of the scruff has grown in. Anyway, we totally took a left turn, but I could not end this podcast without asking.
It was a burning question, you know. You had to ask it, and I'm here for that whenever.
Right, and we need a little fun after talking about grief. But seriously, your work is incredible. Please, everybody, go follow the Tilly Project. You can go to the website if you're a photographer that's listening and you want to invest time in these end of life sessions. TheTillyProject.org is the website. Thank you so much, Lauren. I really appreciate your time. I hope you have a great night.
Thank you so much. Okay, bye. Have a good night.
before I go, I want to give a little shout out to my supporting sponsors who I appreciate so much. There will be new sponsorship opportunities in 2024. I'll be letting you guys know, but I really do appreciate these sponsors that I currently have. And I hope they don't go anywhere because I love them so much. Thank you to the following supporting sponsors. Twin Tails Market and Barkery is a local family-owned business that has been serving the community for close to 7 years. Located in Palos Park, Twin Tails has everything you need to give your dogs and cats healthy and natural foods, treats, chews, toys, and so much more. You can also find them at www.twintailsmarket.com and on Facebook and Instagram as Twin Tails Market. At the Canine PT, we're dedicated to enhancing the lives of your four-legged companions through canine rehabilitation services. Throughout October, we're showing our appreciation for word-of-mouth referrals by giving away a play session at Bodley's Backyard to our top referrer. For more information, visit the Canine PT. That's THEK9PT.com. Anything is Plausible is Chicago's premier dog training company. They offer group classes for every stage of your dog's life and have a talented team of behavior specialists to work through any issues that need modification using positive reinforcement. Liz Starks at Guaranteed Rate. Check with Liz for the absolute best mortgage options. She helps when others can't and even calls it rescue loans. Buyers, sellers, or investors, give Liz a call. She can lend in all 50 states. NMLS number 224526. Kimberly Kingen Photography. Kimberly is a professional photographer from Chicago who loves animals as much as you do. Her pet portraiture celebrates pure love, connection, and the beauty of life with our furry loved ones by our side. Kimberly has done some bucket list photo shoots for our Live Like Roo dogs. She does amazing work. Please check her out for your holiday photos coming up too. Thank you so much, sponsors. I love you. I will see you guys next week. Have a good day.